He didn't believe he was that close, but obviously your perception at 247 is probably a little bit skewed.
All right, Julian Ellsworth Marquez. Good morning, sir. As I indicated, there's some similarity to these cases. You're also a young man. The last guy's from Sturgis, you're from Three Rivers. You're not about the same age and you're making the same kind of life choices that he is, which ended up you getting arrested. Also, unlike him, you got a bunch of baggage on your driving record. Ms. Harden, what would you like me to know?
Thank you, Your Honor. Mr. Frazine did, again, like Mr. Huppa, a nice job kind of summarizing the facts of the case and kind of what's going on with Mr. Marquez. I think this is, as the judge has indicated, another example of a young man struggling to find the balance between how to enjoy alcohol and how to properly function in society. He does have a prior conviction for drunk driving earlier this year. It is the only alcohol related offense on his record that I can see. Some prior minor misdemeanors before that. He is young. I think that, as indicated, the probation's goal is to rehabilitate and provide services to help him get a handle on alcohol use. So I would ask the court to adopt the recommendation as presented by Mr. Frazine. Thank you.
Mr. Frazine?
Your Honor, I believe that one in January, it's in the works. It got dismissed temporarily, but they are going to pursue that. I believe that's the last word that I have.
Yeah, I'm glad Ms. Canfield is here. She can maybe enlighten us a little bit.
Well, I would hope so, Your Honor, but my laptop's not working at the moment. I'm happy to run back and use my desktop.
Well, let's see how we do here. Anyway, the word Daniel got through the grapevine is.
Yes, and I
looked at
and that was
case,
from the prosecutor's office back when I was putting this together a while
Right.
back. So I don't know if things changed in the last couple of months, but I did speak with Mr. Marquez. I've known him because I had him before, and he did indicate that all these, with the exception of the retail fraud, did include alcohol. Now, this one was a very high BAC, 247.
Well, the disorderlies from Three Rivers, and at least some of those involved alcohol, did they not?
He said they were all involved alcohol.
Yeah, that's what I thought.
Yes, so there's obviously an issue going on here. The other concerning thing on this is obviously the pending OWI, but the fact that he almost hit a officer in the vehicle when they were dealing with another issue. He didn't believe he was that close, but obviously your perception at 247 is probably a little bit skewed. He's always been polite with me. He was very polite, and I think he was honest here, but we do obviously have a serious alcohol issue, which I'm hoping to address. I did recommend a 2-year probation, which you could get done in a year, because of the other drinking issues and the possible. Well, he already did get pulled for drunk driving, which is to be determined. So there's an issue. So I believe that the 6 days to be scheduled, 6 additional days, was appropriate with this, as well as testing for 1 time a week, VIP, and the regular AA meetings. And I hope that this will help him make better choices going forward, because obviously, a lot like the other case, I think being young, sometimes they think they're indestructible, and hopefully this will curb his choices in the future, Your Honor.
Ms. Canfield, this one, again, young man, same age range, making bad decisions. Although Mr. Marquez has a lot more baggage than our last defendant. What would you like me to know?
Oh, Your Honor, I'm very concerned about this defendant and the fact that the alcohol usage has led to all of the criminal behavior for his report to Mr. Frazeen. So and obviously having been more than twice, our last defendant split alcohol level, but functional, at least to some extent, indicates a high tolerance has been developed over a very short number of years by this young man. So that's extremely concerning. I think that a jail recommendation is appropriate. And I, frankly, I don't know why they should be scheduled. I think they should go from the courtroom when
Yes.
this type of behavior occurs. I understand it's convenient for both the defendant and the jail to work around schedules and
Well, it
things.
mostly has to do with employment.
Mhm.
Immediate jail generally costs the defendants their job, and we're gonna find out about his job here in a minute.
Correct.
But that's mostly what it has to do with, is not making them lose their job, but yeah, in the old days, you went right from the jail, but the world's changed.
And I mean, it's a double edged like catch-22, I think, because sometimes the consequence of criminal behavior is losing your job.
Yes,
That doesn't put them in a good position to pay for their recovery and fines of costs and counseling and testing and the other things that they need to do. So I suppose reluctantly, it's fine for it to be scheduled in that respect. Because we do want somebody to rehabilitate, and he's young. And if he is willing to recognize that he has developed an alcohol dependency, which most likely is what the assessment will come out to from my experience in these types of instances, then maybe we can see some real rehabilitation and some good change and positive outcomes for this young man. The rest of the recommendation is appropriate. I frankly like to see the victim impact panels ordered in person when appropriate. I think that it can make a larger impact to hear somebody speaking in person upon how a drunk driving accident or death has affected their life, as opposed to seeing it online. It would
how are
become
we doing, how are we doing
impersonalized
it
to
now?
that.
The only ones that, for the most part, once in a blue moon, some people that live out in like Grand Rapids or stuff will do it online. But most of the time, if there's not a language barrier, we'll do it here in person.
Oh, great.
So probably I'd say 90% of the time, they're
Well,
probably here.
I started the victim impact panel here about 35 or more years ago. And I agree, it's much more impactful. We had occasionally, we would have a speaker canceled or something. We had some compelling videos. I videotaped every session. I would go, and so I'd meet every single drunk driver and I would videotape the sessions and we would save them. But it's much more impactful to be in a room with real people and other people than to watch a video. We could all do that with lay back in our chair,
Yes.
or watch it from home. So yes, but I think community corrections runs it now, but the prosecutor's office ran it. I ran it. And the hard part was getting live speakers that would be willing to come in and share their stories. And we had some very compelling speakers, but it's like they could only do it once. Unfortunately, we have a continuing pool of new potential speakers with all the vehicular deaths we've had. We've had 5 or 6 since July. Now, they aren't all resolved yet. But there's like 5 in the pipeline for charging. So, yes. All right, Mr. Marquez, you've heard what everybody else had to say. You had a rough 2024. I saw you multiple times. You had like 3 or 4 things going on at one time. You got arrested in January on this incident, and the prosecutor decided they needed more investigation. And they dismissed it, subject to being recharged. And then in April, so that didn't scare you a bit. In April, you get this one, where you were real drunk. Your girlfriend was drunk. Probably everybody where you were with was drunk. You're in the parking lot where people are sleeping. And so we haven't made much of a dent on you yet. Now, you had a job, and then in August, allegedly, you started a job at Pioneer.
Yeah,
Are you still at Pioneer?
yeah.
Tell me what you're doing there.
The harvest season for the corn.
Yeah, it's very busy at this time of year. So you're working in the big plant?
No, outside.
What are you doing?
The dryers, we wait for the corn to dry, and then we send it back into the building where they take it off the husk and it's seeds.
And how long you been there? Since August?
Yeah,
And what are you making an hour?
19.
All right, well, that's decent wage for our area for unskilled. So I think even during all the other stuff, he always had some kind of a job. And as Ms. Canfield said, sometimes the consequence is you lose your job. I looked up the other case, and Mr. O'Bear was quite terse and succinct in his letter denying it for now, asking the officers to do further investigation. One thing we didn't even know is what your blood alcohol was. He refused the preliminary breath test, so there should have been some consequence on his license from that. And they did a blood draw, apparently. Well, I don't know. I couldn't tell from the declination what was going on, but it didn't look good. So I was thinking about this last Friday, and then I looked at it again this morning. I don't know that I want to do a probation at this point. I may have that dilutes the next one. So if I put him on probation now, and he gets another one, which preceded this one, plus I want to see what he does without me having his finger on him between now and when he gets the new arrest. But this also is expensive. Now, as I told the last young man, I don't know if I can stop you from drinking. But I'd like to stop you from drinking and driving. There is a significant chance that you have an alcohol addiction. Now, you're young, so nothing is determined. A certain percentage of the people in North America have the alcoholism gene. They have a genetic predisposition to alcoholism. Now, everybody that's an alcoholic doesn't have the gene, and everybody that has the gene is not an alcoholic. But we see a lot of people in our treatment court that have a genetic predisposition to alcohol. You're not old enough to process that. You could save yourself a lot of grief if you could stop drinking at 22. That's an awful lot to expect. We don't have the greatest success in sobriety court with very young people. Sometimes you have to hit yourself in the head 8 or 9 times before you realize that it hurts. But I don't want you to lose your job. As Mr. Frazine said, you've always been polite and respectful. Then you go out and make the same mistake all over again. Somebody could have been hurt here. But those disorderlies, and there were a couple, I don't remember whether the retail fraud has alcohol in it. We had about 4 things pending at once and we took care of them.
Yeah.
All right, I'm gonna do 10 days jail. Credit 2, leaving 8 days to serve. No, I'll go with Daniel's recommendation. 8 days. I'll start over. Miss Canfield makes a good point that it might be more impactful if I sent you right to jail. But I'm gonna give you 8 days jail, credit 2, leaving 6 days to serve, which are gonna be served on weekends. I'm not putting on probation.
All right.
I'm ordering a $300 fine, $75 crime victims' rights fee, a $50 state minimum fee, and a $100 screening fee, $150 attorney fee. Was there a 140?
145 to TRPD.
And this was written under state statute. I don't know why Three Rivers and Sturgis both do it. This occurred at Maple Crest or somewhere. I don't know why they didn't charge it under ordinance, but and I'll do the victim impact panel. It's very likely that when you get done with this jail sentence, you're going to get arrested again.
Yeah.
What they'll may do is send you a notice to appear. Well, let's add that up. $300 the fine. $125 state costs. $100 screening fee. $150 attorney fee. $145 police reimbursement, and $32 victim impact panel is $852. That's pretty cheap. If I'd put in a probation oversight fee and some other stuff, it would have been substantially higher. All right, you're gonna have to do the victim impact panel, even though you're not on probation. I'm gonna give you until the end of the year to pay this.
All right.
What, you pay it sooner? Can you pay it sooner than
Yeah.
that? Or-
Yeah.
Well, I'll give you till December 1st.
Okay.
Now, you're not on probation. And there isn't anything that says you can't drink. My recommendation is you take a close look in the mirror. And think about what you want to do. If you get charged with the next drinking driving case, then we'll deal with that. And I would most probably put you on a probation. Now that may be upside down thinking. But I didn't. Hopefully that charge is coming sooner rather than later. What I don't want you to do is get another one of these in the meantime. Or worse. Be another drinking driving fatality. I looked them all up one day last week. I went through the WLCAM website to look at there was a bunch more that weren't in St. Joe County. There were some from Cass and some from Indiana, and a couple that weren't in there. There were 2 kids on Big Hill Road in Sturgis, and one boy was driving, the other boy was killed. That wasn't in there. but I think there's 5 pending investigations for alcohol-related deaths. It takes a while to do it. The prosecutor has to get the toxicology reports back. They have to get the laboratory results in case there's other substances. They have to get the accident reconstruction report, the autopsy report. So those cases take a lot of investigation often before they're authorized. I don't want you to be one of those. All right, here's the information regarding your fine. You still living with your brothers?
Yeah, in White Pigeon,
Yes.
we got an apartment.
How old are they?
My brother is 19, but not 20. 21.
I'd like to see what your trash looks like. There's probably lots of beer cans. You and your brothers are living a young life. All right, don't get in any more trouble until I see you next. I want you to go with Daniel. He's gonna schedule the victim impact panel.
Thank you, Your Honor.
All right, thank you, everyone.
Your Honor.
Okay, stop the record.
Hey, thanks for watching. Please do let us know in the comments what you thought of this video. If you'd like to support what we do here, the best way to do it is to pick up some of our merch. You can find it at courtroomfiles.com.